Okay, good evening, everybody. I think we stopped in, I think 141. So, I think let me do a video today for everyone and go through some of the high points of what we've considered in the last 3 days. We still have some 4 or 5 days on an extended period of mentorship for the next 30 days for everyone. So, we talked about the PMP certification. So, we said uh, it's owned by PMI. Uh, it's called the Project Management Professional Training. You, if you get certified, you have to be doing some uh, training that's going to be regular to get some units, and those units you call them PDUs, and we use what we call the Project Management Body of Knowledge. Now, the PM box is just a textbook that helps you prepare for the exam. So use that in conjunction with every other video material, your slides, your content, and the rest. So it's valid for 3 years, and you need 60 PDUs as um, professional development units to be able to maintain your PMP certification. You need about 35 contact hours. So this training even surpasses the 35 contact hours. And you want to be a member, I showed you my membership stuff the first day. It cost about $139. Your exam is $555, and that's that. If you have questions, please ask us. uh, I will just get to where we started from. So we started discussing about projects. We said project is something that have a timeline, deliver a particular result, uh, have a start, have a finish date. That's what you call a project, right? So they are performed by people. They have constraints. That is going to have limited resources in terms of people, in terms of cost, in terms of your budget, in terms of your time, in terms of your stakeholders, in terms of environment. So there are different types of constraints that you're going to be having. Uh, you could plan it, you could execute it, you could also control it, right? Don't forget we have the initiation, planning, execution, monitoring and control, then finish. So within it, within the planning, um, within the planning, or rather within the initiation and the finishing, you have three important items, which is planning, execution, then monitoring and control. It's also temporary in nature. So the difference between your project and your operations is that your operations are actually ongoing, repetitive. In most companies, you have the operations department, so they just do repetitive stuff, right? Um, Examples of projects is developing a new charger for a cell phone, expanding your service offering or at a consulting firm. So you can have a business and you can decide to say, okay, I want to start offering some new services. I want to start offering some new products. Right. So that expansion is a project because it's going to have a start date. Once you succeed, it's now a finish date. You want to match two organizations. You want to implement a new accounting system. Once it has the characteristics of project, you can call that a project. Now, project management. Use some skills, use some tools, use some techniques. Yesterday or 2 days ago, I talked about the input tools, techniques, and output. So that's the things you're going to use to be able to, in your processes, to be able to help you now deliver your project, have your output at the end of the day. And don't forget, it's both a science and it's also an art, right? So that's to say, it's a science meaning that you have some mathematical, you have some algorithms, you have some science to it. And in terms of art, it then means that you're going to be doing some soft skills. Communication is a skill you need in project management. What's it called? Um, uh, you need negotiation skills, you need meeting skills, you need courtesy, you need patience. There are several skills that you need that is an art. Then of course, like I said earlier on, is a science because it follows some procedures, some principles. You have some algorithms, some mathematics. You also have the software you're going to be using, which is the Microsoft project, right? Okay, then I said we have five process groups, 10 knowledge areas, 49 processes. So it has some standard, it has some processes, and some approaches. You could apply it to several aspects, and you could tailor it to meet your own a specific project or your own organizational need. Now, see these guys, they're working on the project, right? Call it PL Integrated Consulting Service Limited. What are they doing? They are trying to maybe fix a building or remove all of these guys or construct a train that's going to go from point A through this tunnel into point B. So that's the project because it's going to have a start date, it's going to have a finish date. So who's the project manager? So that guy that's going to help us deliver that project, right? That's the guy. So he has several responsibilities. He drives decision making, right? He promotes the client's involvement. You cannot deliver projects without involving your client. You're not giving a project and at the end of the day you just come from nowhere and say, yes, we're done, we're finished. From how, where, how did it happen? No input for me, no client involvement, no stakeholders involvement. No, he's the guy also that's going to be mentoring project members, right? Now you have the talent triangle. So what's that skill set? You as a person, as a project manager, you need to be able to deliver on. So you need technical project management skills, you need leadership skills, strategic and business management, right? Okay, so a program where you have group of related projects together, right? Or sub-programs all tied together to achieve a particular goal. That's what you call a program. So if I have an estate to build an estate, all of the different 3-bedroom flats I have all together, it's a program. If I have 10 projects in different cities in Nigeria, if somebody now manages all of the different projects put together, you call that a program. And program management is all of the things you need: the knowledge, the skills, the tools, the techniques to be able to help you achieve those requirements to deliver each of those projects individually, but having the overarching organizational goal. So the organizational goal is very critical when it comes to program and portfolio. So portfolio, group of related programs. So this diagram tries to explain it, gives you project, program, portfolio, right? So it just gives you description. So who are stakeholders? Anybody that's going to be impacted. You have a filling station. Who is going to have impact? I just saw a mall recently across my route to work. I was wondering how will they manage traffic? It's just by the road. So I am going to be impacted. All of the commuters are going to be impacted. So I saw that they've done a nice work just 2 days ago. They now giving directions. This how to enter into the mall. This how to, because people need signs. Because they're going to be impacted one way or the other, even if they don't need to do any shopping. So who is going to be involved, right? All of the team members, all of the persons, the stakeholders, the person providing the money, the budget, and the people are going to employ. Who has interest? At times, governments can have interest. Even people far away, the community around the area can have interest. And you have different degrees of this involvement and interest and also impact. So you need to be able to gauge them and make sure that if you take everything, go to most places where you have oil exploration, you see that because these people understand project management, they get to give tax assignments, stuffs and jobs to people around because they also consider those guys as stakeholders. If you don't do that, you're going to jeopardize your final goal, which is your actual exploration and profit at the end of the day. So an individual, group of persons, organization who may affect or be affected by, right? Or perceive itself to be affected. That means the person can say, I have a stake in this. I'm a stakeholder. So when people say they are stakeholders, it then means that that thing has something to do with them, right? By your decision, or by that decision alone, or the activity in trying to carry out that project, or the end result of that project. Then it can be the team, the manager, the sponsor, the project management office, the customers. All of these persons are stakeholders, right? So a project sponsor is the one who gives the go-ahead for a project and provides the necessary resources, the manpower, the money, the machines, and everything to execute that project. So that's who you call a project sponsor. That's just a quiz. You could take that. So stakeholders management, you should be able to identify the internal and external. So the internal are people that you're going to work with, external are people that you're not you're going to work with, but they are not directly involved with the project. So you need to be able to determine your stakeholders' requirements. You need to be able to determine what they're expecting, what they need from you, what they want from you, what they want you to be taken into, what they want taken into account. Then you need to be able to communicate with your stakeholders. If you understand this, you should be able to manage your stakeholders properly. Key takeaways: trying to make this as swift, as fast as possible because we've considered most of these things. So we're just trying to do a brief wrap up of most of the concepts we've considered in the last 3-4 days. So, key takeaways: project management is application of skills, tools, techniques, right, to make sure that you meet your project requirements. And the project manager is that guy that's going to help integrate all of these things and within constraints. Constraints are critical in terms of deploying a project. Oh, I want to get to do a PhD program. You have constraints in time, you have constraints in scope, you have constraints in cost, you have constraints in the type of quality. The quality of the PhD program you want to run is going to tell how much there's going to be involved, right? How much you even have can have an impact, a relationship with respect to how much time. You see programs being run as fast track, as executive programs, as a distance learning program. So you say, I don't have so much time, then go for a distance learning program. You're going to spend longer. I might spend a little bit much. Or you say, I have all the time. Or rather, you say, I don't have all the time. I need to be able to do it remotely. I need to be able to do it very, very fast. So you go for an executive program. So, and you're able to at the end of the day deploy that your project. I have a quiz, so you could take that. So there's a difference between a project life cycle and a product life cycle. So a project is going to go from the start to the finish, rather from the initiation up to the end, whereas a product is going to have different life or different stages. Yesterday we talked about, for instance, if a company starts producing a particular brand of TV, right? So that's the very, very early stage. What's going to happen is that what's going to happen is that at that very earlier stage, people are going to want it. People are going to need it. People are going to be inquisitive about that product. People are going to like it. People are going to patronize it. It's going to get awareness. But don't forget, there's a stage where competitors are going to now be saying, oh, what is this product? What problem does it solve? What are the pain points of the persons that are actually purchasing this stuff? They're just patronizing, patronizing, patronizing. Why are they doing this? It then means there's something this product is trying to achieve. So you now have competitors. People going to China, go to the technology hubs, go to US, go to UK. We want to produce this product. Then at the first point, it starts up very, very nice. It gets to its peak, it gets to its climax, where you now have several competitors. You now have that same product, but you have different competitors. For instance, detergent, you have Omo, you have Clean, you have what was it called? You have several types. At the onset of that particular type of product, you're just going to have one. So at a point, one of those earlier products now have what we call maturity level. So what do you call maturity level? Maclean, for instance, you call all your toothpaste for brushing your teeth Maclean. Why? Because that product got to a very peak maturity level. It became a household name. So no matter what you call your toothpaste, people will call it Maclean. For those that don't understand, same thing with Indomie. Ten things we cook. Like my kids, for instance, now for now they cannot differentiate between Coke, Fanta. Just I think my daughter, but my son, my little the little one, she cannot differentiate. So she calls everything Coke, right? That's how it is when a product has not, or rather, have reached that maturity level. So of course, it starts coming down when you now have. So it goes like a curve. It goes like this up. It goes up. It reaches its peak, and now comes down. Right? So you want to make sure that you keep your product at its peak for a very long time to reap as much benefit as possible. And most companies have different ways they do it. How do you do that? Even for the life cycle of a company, different companies have different life cycles. One of the reasons how they do A product life cycle, especially that maturity, that peak level, or a company life cycle, is that they introduce additional products, they introduce additional programs, they introduce additional projects to still keep that name of that company or that product top notch. Most It will surprise you to know that Picnic, for instance, um, um, what's it called? What's the name of this other milk? About two, three milks you have in the market are owned by one company. Do your research. Most of these companies, they are all owned by one conglomerate, right? One fast-moving consumer goods company. But they push these things in the market. You, when you're purchasing, you're going to say, okay, I love this, I prefer this. The money is still going to one person. Why? The one you say you don't love again because it has a higher uh, purchase price is that it has reached its maturity level and it's maybe kind of expensive. So, but when people might not be ready to pay for it, and they have another customer segment that's ready to pay for that same kind of product but maybe cheaper. For instance, Pick Milk and Tree Crown, one company, right? I think in Freshland, the company is it Freshland or so? I think they're from forgotten European country. So, for instance, Toyota, Lexus, same company, just a different aspect, just a different a section of the company, still producing that same product. So they do all of this. So you, as a person, as a company, once you start seeing you're reaching your maturity level, what should you do? You're able to introduce new products, new projects, new programs to be able to keep you at peak. Same thing that happens in the life cycle of any person. If you want to keep being productive, you have to improve yourself. Okay, I've devoted so much time here. Let me ride on. So I have project life cycle, then I have different management processes. So these processes are what we do to manage the project, right? So I'm teaching you based on the PM book version 6. There's a version 7 that's going to be in more light from 2022, right? So if you're going to take the exam in 2021, what I'm training you on is very on point, right? So from 2022, you have a new syllabus, right? So I encourage everyone, if you're going to write your exam this year, if you have your $555, you could take all of these materials, you could read, you could prepare, you could let me know, you could write your exam, you could get certified. If you want to take it next year, then that means that you're going to do a new set of learnings because you have slight difference in the content, in the object, just like every exam, you have new content from time to time. So you have the agile, the iterative, and the predictive life cycle. I explain most of this concept. Then you also have the hybrid that it tends to combine the agile and the predictive life cycle together. So the predictive is what we say about what is synonymous with what you call the waterfall, right? So it just have scope, cost, time determined in advance. You plan everything from the beginning, right? The project is executed in strings of sequential and overlapping phases. So you have A, B. So we have to finish A first before we get to B, or to finish B first, we get to C, like that till the very end. But why hybrid combines all of them together? So agile mindset. So in agile, it's very we try to interchange all of the processes. So I'm trying to go to school, right? And I'm trying to get another certification. I'm trying to work, and I'm trying to develop leadership skills, right? Ordinarily, if I want to go with a predictive methodology, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to start with school. I finish up with school. Then I go to a project management course, take the course, get certified, spend 5, 6 months. Then I go to leadership academy, I finish up that, then and I look for a job. So that's an iterative, or rather, yes, a predictive type of what's it called, life cycle. So I plan everything from the earlier stage. Agile is going to be me going to school, taking a project management class, doing all of that stuff right together simultaneously. The goal is that I want people to be a better person and be able to get a better work at the end of the day. So you have different domains. So they are all classified into the people, process, and business environment. Um, so domain one, people. People, so you have leadership, team building, motivation, conflict management. Then you have in people domain, you're able to manage conflict, lead people, build a team, negotiate project agreement. These are things that are needed by a project manager. Process. So you have different processes, right? That include skills, activities for you to be able to manage your project. So we have about 49 processes, as you're all aware. Then we have the environment. Environment is very critical, it's very key when it comes to you trying to deliver your project. Like we know stakeholders, some stakeholders are going to be uh, concerned about the environment. They most projects you hear things like the environment impact assessment. So what are they trying to do? Trying to say how will the environment be impacted in terms of erosion, in terms of pollution, in terms of the kids around, in terms of access to road, in terms of water, in terms of electricity, in terms of whatever. So that's all the things that has to do with environment. Okay, so this slide 50. So I will take a pause here and I'll do another video sometime.